Good morning. Hand today is going to be 7-6 of diamonds. We are at a full table. Folds around to me on the button. I open raise. Normally we have a massive range. I'm just going to play this. This is almost 40%. You can see that if we go everything, we're doing all suited hands and everything. But doing 40%, that's not bad. It's high hands, speculative hands. And we don't have a huge amount of information on either player. Big blind, fold to steal, 1 out of 1. Small blind, fold to steal, 0 out of 1. It could be anything. So I open raise. We get one caller in the small blind. He's playing 29-11. We don't have a whole lot of hands. You can see 1 out of 3 from the small blind. That's what he's played. He's called a bet from the small blind, 1 out of 2. But I think more importantly, we do have some hands on him where he's called 2 bet from the blinds. He's got ace 10 off, king queen off, king 10 off, 10-9 off. I think that's good enough to say we've got the offsuit Broadway hands, maybe even ace 9. We've got probably the suited Broadways as well. I'm going to assume he would raise queens plus ace king with ace queen suited. I would assume he would 3-bet those, maybe even 3-bet like jacks and 10s, maybe ace queen off. We just don't. I just don't know. He's had 10 opportunities to 3-bet and he hasn't taken it. We do have a 3-bet range of queens, so I think we're in the ballpark there. As far as the suited hands, we're going to say suited aces, king 9 suited or better, queen 9 suited or better, suited connectors, suited 1-gappers, so forth. I think we're going to go with that range. So 2 of us see the flop. It's ace jack jack with 2 diamonds. Not terrible. Don't care for the jack as much, but we do have the diamond draw. I think this board hits our range. If we think about hands, we could have already had the full house. We could have quads. I don't think villain could have aces full. He could have jacks full of aces. He could have, I think, jacks full of aces. I was gonna say maybe quads. I took out jacks. I kind of assume he would probably 3-bet that. So in terms of who could have top hands, I think I could have really the top hands, but both of us can hit. I'm going to have a lot more hands in my range that miss. So we do have to be aware of that. So villain checks, no big surprise. And then it comes to us, and I ultimately check. Question is, what do I continue with? I think this is a hand where we're going to be c-betting a little bit more than what's expected. So definitely, I think 3 of a kind plus. That if we go just 3 of a kind or better, that's 11%. So then, bluffing ranges are going to get us up to like 30% c-bet range. I think we're actually going to be c-betting some of our top pair as well. Possibly some of our like ace king, ace queen. We would be c-betting, and then maybe like the ace 2, ace 3. Maybe up to ace 5. I guess there is a chance that we could get I was gonna say a backdoor straight. No, it can't get backdoor straight draw because we're using the ace. So if it like comes 2-3, we would only have ace 4. That doesn't work. So maybe those aren't. Maybe we extend it down to about an ace 10. Maybe as our last top pair hands, and then we have these other ace 10. I think ace 10's maybe. Let's do 50% for ace 10. I think sometimes we bet it, sometimes we don't. And then we're gonna have our flush draws. I think we're bet. I think we're gonna probably do gut shot. And we're gonna probably have some of these like no made hands, like pocket pair below the boards, maybe like 2, 3, 4. Those are gonna be, I think, pure bluffing hands here. 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got some potential where if we catch like a low card there, that's going to give us a full house. I think 6s to 10s are going to be checks, and then our 2-card backdoor flush draws, maybe like a 10-9 maybe. That could improve. Maybe 10-8. Maybe like the king 9s, queen 9s type of hands. I don't think we're doing a whole lot, so maybe just like that. So we're up to like 42%. I think I'm missing some bluffing hands. I think is what I'm missing. But I think that's going to be our c-bet range. I didn't c-bet, so... and I think that's kind of a mistake. I think we could have c-bet our diamonds, and we should have c-bet our diamonds based on this texture. I think we have enough, top pair plus hands in a range that we're going to have to add these flush draws in our range. So let's go ahead and get these added. Get our checking range set. So we obviously don't have those. Pocket pair below the top card is definitely a check. Those are all going to be checks. We're going to say no flush draws, no gut shots. And I think we're going to do these. We'll just have to remember that we're not going to have a huge number of our backdoor flush draws. I mean, we will, basically, because we're checking, but we won't have all of them. All right, so 57%. We go to a turn, 5 of hearts. Villain now leads out here. Question is, what is he going to lead out? I do think he probably leads out full house, probably leads out 3 of a kind here, probably leads out top pair. Top pair is kind of questionable. Maybe it's 50% that he leads out. Just kind of depends. Some players, once we check through, it makes it seem like his ace is going to be good, and that's part of the reason why we check some of those top pair hands, is we can guard against that, against his top pair hands. So it basically says that when we check, we don't always, we never have top pair. We can have it. We can have it. So I think we're going to say top pair plus is what he's possibly leading out. Would he lead out with all of it? We'll say he will. And then it comes to us. We need to connect. We need 25% equity. We're definitely getting that with our flush draw. So I don't mind the call. Could we raise? I think that would actually be a pretty strong play if we raised here. And that's a nice thing if we had 2s, 3, 4, 5 that we raise that he called because he had a jack, and then we bet again. He comes in for a check raise. We just take his stack. Really, the only hands we're worried about would be ace jack. But any case, what about a raise here with our flush draw? I think it's just going to be birding up some money. So you look at the hands that he's doing this with. You're looking at 45% is 3 of a kind or better. I don't think those hands are folding. I really don't. I think top pair is also going to be a little bit questionable. I think maybe we can get a fold. 30%. Maybe he gives up ace 2, ace 3, ace 4. Maybe even ace 5 he gives up. But I don't know about ace 10. I think maybe ace 10, ace 9, he's going to look at it and say, you know what, I just don't believe that you have the ace. I think you might be on a draw. You're making a play. Because the question is, why didn't I c-bet to begin with? All right, so why didn't I c-bet? So I'm not sure if a raise would work here. Obviously, once he bets and we get to this spot, when we think about what do we have, I have basically weak hands. So I think with the top pair, we're going to call. We're not going to call with all top pair. I think maybe ace 7 might be our cutoff. Sometimes we call with that, sometimes we fold with that. I think ace 10, ace 9, ace 8 is getting called. I don't even think we call with kings and queens at this point. I don't think he's going to be bluffing a whole lot, not these players. So I think we can just do exploitative fold. We have a gut shot with 4-3, but I just don't. I think we're making. I think we had a lot of hands, and again, if we think he's going to be bluffing, definitely we're going to have to call kings and queens, and maybe we do call once here just to protect against those people who are going to be betting recklessly like that. Maybe even call with like 10s, 9, 8s. Maybe sevens and sixes are fold. So maybe we do that. Call 25%. That prevents him from getting like automatic profit. We are calling with some hands. River's a 10 of hearts. I think we're just going to check down here. He checks, so that makes it a little bit better. So if he was betting, let's go back to here. Oops, that was a 10 of hearts. So if he was getting some of these hands, maybe he's betting with, maybe he's betting with a flush draw here, leading out. So if he's doing that with the flush draw, we can add that. Maybe he's also doing it with some of these weaker hands. And that's why, when he checks again, maybe he has these weak pair or nothing, in which case he checks. Question is, what is he going to fold? And I just can't imagine ace-x folding. So I think if we just go top pair or better, he's calling 84% of the time. It's not going to benefit us to bluff. I think we just check behind and take the showdown, with the exception being our full house. If we catch a full house, that's great. Yeah, I think even our top pair, we just check behind and take the showdown. Maybe ace 10, ace 9 we bet. So take that back. Say we bet like the full house and these good aces, but kings and queens we check. So maybe 56% we bet. Some of these, the ace 9 sometimes will lose to ace 10, ace 8 sometimes lose to ace 9, and so forth. But I think we go for a little bit of value here. So I don't mind checking now with my hand. I bet. I don't think I'm getting the folds that I need to with this play. And if we think about it, what could I have possibly had? King queen. Would I be calling king queen in this place? Would I have checked behind on king queen? Would I have checked the flop on king queen? I think king queen's a c betting hand. So what this might be would be like if I played a queen 10 or a king 10 and then I hit a 10, so he's going to call with all of his aces. So I don't really like this bet. I don't know what I'm representing other than maybe a 10, if that, because I would have had to check down my jacks, I would have had to check down my ace jack, all of the strong hands I would have had to check down. I'm basically giving up value on that and hoping he bets for me. I just don't think that makes sense. I think this was a big screw up. So I'm expecting ace-x or better. He shows 9-10, which is a little bit surprising. So I don't even know if I have that in his hand. So he didn't. So if we go back to here, I didn't have him. I had him basically not betting that. I mean, he had to bet the no-made hand. I mean, if he's doing that, maybe he bets everything in this case. And then the question is, what would he call with? Weak pair plus? Still. So I didn't get his hand. We're going to have to take a note. Really, it was that turn play that we really want to take a note of. So he called big blinds, 3 big blind R, no, not big blind, button, 3 big blind RFI in SB with 10 of spade down of hearts. Then he's out of position. He checked, bet. I think he bet 50% on that turn. Yep. 50%. And then he check called 2/3, 66%. So it's a diamond jack, a clubs, 5 of hearts, 10 of hearts. So really it was that turn, and then he called with third pair here. And I don't mind that. I don't necessarily mind his call, because if you think about it, what hands do I have? I just don't think I'm very strong. It just doesn't. Nothing really makes sense. You could definitely say I'm not very strong. So he could have easily come over the top as a bluff, and I think I would have to fold. Weak flush draw fits my range. Weak flush draw fits my range a lot. So I messed up this hand. I should have c-bet this. I think if I c-bet, I'm in a much better position. I think I c-bet, I win. Even if he calls one time, he's not going to call the turn. And I think we could easily bet the turn again. I'm not sure if I would have. We don't have a huge number of hands to know how he plays post flop, how he handles c-bets, but I do think we miss a c-bet, and then we probably would be c-betting again on the turn with our diamond draw, and we would get the fold either on the flop or on the turn, I believe, against this hand, and that's what we need. But messed up this hand, we lost it. That's why we kind of learn, and this definitely. I don't think I could represent anything strong in this situation. So yeah, he's gonna call with third pair. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, you can look tomorrow for another one.